Welcome to this sunny day, a new camera comparison between the Honor Magic VS versus the Honor 70. Yeah, why I'm comparing a mid-range device, the Honor 70, with a super flagship foldable phone, because they almost have the same camera setup on the back. You can see the specs here. So we have an IMX800 main camera sensor on both and a 50 megapixel ultra wide angle on both as well. Just the Magic VS also has a telecamera that the Honor 70 is missing, and on the front we also have like a big difference there as well. And I think we start off with the front-facing video. So here we have the front-facing camera of the Honor 70. As you can see here already, we can only record 1080p 30 frames per second, and we don't have any options to zoom out or something like this. This is what you get. It's quite a close-up shot that we have here on the Honor 70. Nevertheless, I think it is okay from the sharpness, stabilization and HDR. What do you think about the Honor 70's front-facing video? And here we have now the Honor Magic VS front-facing video. I think it's a bit wider, tad wider than the Honor 70, but only limited also to 1080p 30 frames per second. What do you think about this one here? Maybe it has a little bit better stabilization than the Honor 70, but what do you think about this one? Is it good for vlogging? Now the highlight of the Honor 70, the IMX800 sensor, 1/1.49 inch I think it is here, and yeah, that gets a nice background blur, has a nice aperture as well, and can record 4K 30. I can also zoom out to the 50 megapixel camera that can also do 4K 30. What do you think about this one here? HDR, colors and so on. And now the highlight sensor of the Honor Magic VS, also the IMX800, the same sensor size, I think also the same aperture. What do you think about this one here? It has a different processor, Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 instead of the Snapdragon 778G on the Honor 70, 8G Plus I think it is there. And we also have the ultra wide angle possibilities here. We're recording 4K 30, so we can go to the 50 megapixel ultra wide angle as well. And this one has even a nice animation here in video mode thanks to the new Snapdragon. Which one do you prefer here in terms of video? So here we have the photos. On the left is the Honor 70, on the right is the Magic VS. What we can see on first glance is a different kind of color punch. We have a much bluer, punchier blue in the sky on the Magic VS and a bit warmer kind of color on the Honor 70, and we can see it throughout the photos that the Honor 70 tends to warm things up a little bit more. Or we can see also a little bit more details in the clouds here, maybe a bit too much processing on the Magic VS, but we can see later also that it is probably a bit more details here. You can see also a bit overexposure on the Honor 70, and this you can also see here on this backlight of this car. It's a bit overexposed, a tad less sharp than on the Magic VS, a bit more contrast added on the Honor 70, a bit more artificially looking sharpening, where it is still artificially looking but less artificial looking than on the Honor 70 on the Magic VS for sure. And look at the leaves, much sharper than on the Honor 70. When we go to the ultra wide angle, almost no difference. There's no difference in the sky color here, though I think the Honor 70 is still going towards warmer colors. You can see it here in the background in this little building here, that they're sadly like getting rid of, like the kindergarten there. They will build a new one, but they have to get rid of the old building. Anyway, you can see it's a tad warmer than on the Magic VS. Towards the sides, it's getting much softer on the Honor 70, so we have much worse lens there, I would say. Also here on this side, you can see that looks to be wider on the Honor 70, but it's not wider. It's just simply slightly different angle there, both 30 millimeters. But you can see it's warmer kind of color, softer, much softer than on the Magic VS. Towards the side, towards the middle, we can also see better processing on the Magic VS, where there's a bit more details preserved in the little tree and the little grass on the ground there that we don't see so much here on the Honor 70. When we go to the selfie cam, we have a clear winner. That's the Honor 70. Even though it outputs only 8 megapixels, you can see it's far superior to the 60 megapixels on the Magic VS, where it just looks lifelike on the Honor 70. Of course, it's a bit more yellowish, this face, but it's definitely sharper. The Magic VS is simply not sharp. You can see it here also on this, and I was holding them both roughly the same distance away from me. Otherwise, the HDR is doing a fine job here as well. When taking a look at the zoom, no comparison. The Magic VS has a native zoom 3 times, which looks way better than the cropped in zoom on the Honor 70. 10 times zoom, forget about it on the Honor 70, but also on the Magic VS, it's just looking ugly and not very good. Then I found this Porsche GT3 RS on the parking lot of the Lidl, and here I have to say I like the colors on the Honor 70 a bit more because it's a bit more warmer kind of color. Though we can see also here in the background how it looks like a bit overexposed on the Honor 70, especially in the sky, where here the Magic VS keeps the sky in the shot. Otherwise, very nice shot, very cool. What I noticed is as well a bit more sharpening applied on the Magic VS. You can see here it's a bit sharper, a tad sharper, could be natural sharpness, but there are also some sharpening artifacts, and especially useful and visible here in the background, where you have a bit of brighter exposure on the Magic VS, but also a bit more sharpening artifacts. Also here on the back spoiler, I think it's called, where it's a bit softer on the Honor 70, looks a bit more natural there. Then I found another one. This is basically the contrast. Here in Germany we call this kind of old timer. It's an old car, and we can see here I think the Honor 70 with its a bit too warmish kind of look. You can see the difference in the color here of the engine door and the side is a bit of too warm for my taste, and you can also see it here in the leaves here. It's just too warm on the Honor 70, and the Magic VS just does it more, just does more right things with the colors there. With a bit more contrasty look, you can see also in the shadow, where here my shadow is a bit brightened up. Also sharpness again, Magic VS wins here, I would say, very, very close in this ultra wide angle comparison. But in general, I think the Magic VS has a slight edge here over the Honor 70. When it comes to the macro photography, macro capabilities, both look fine, a bit more contrasty on the Honor 70. Both use or utilize the ultra wide angle. When I zoom in, however, you can see how much artifacts there are of sharpening up. The Magic VS is much, much softer. It's not adding so much sharpness artifacts in there. But yeah, overall, I like the Magic VS a bit more because it's just simply too much on the Honor 70, too much artifacts here. Yeah, if you zoom out, look maybe a little bit better, maybe a tad sharper, but the difference is not so much. And yeah, overall, I think the Magic VS with its better algorithms for sharpening things up, less aggressive for the macro mode, wins here. Nighttime photography difference here, again, a bit brighter on the Magic VS with the main camera lens, which is quite interesting, but also worse. Look at how this looks like, and look how this looks like. Is it worse? The Honor 70 is actually playing a trick. When you zoom out, you can see it looks much, much sharper because it is sharpening things up like on steroids, basically. Where here the back is like kept soft because the focus point was here on the Magic VS. The Honor 70 tries to sharpen things up to make it readable, but this adds like very, very weird kind of effects. Yeah, granted, you can read stuff, but it's just simply ugly looking and too much processed. Where the Magic VS keeps it softer, doesn't try to sharpen things up, and more real. Though I like the colors a bit better on the Honor 70, where a slight overexposure on the Magic VS. And here, nighttime, completely darkness, I couldn't see my toolbox at all. Sharpness is the first thing that you see is better on the Magic VS, where the Honor 70 is much, much softer here. So the processing here of the Snapdragon is probably helping a lot. More details. Colors almost the same, but just the detail level is insanely different, and the Magic VS is doing a better job here. And that's it basically in terms of photos. As both of those two devices feature the same camera hardware besides the telezoom on the Honor Magic VS, I didn't expect so much of a difference here. Did you see the difference? The difference is basically the processing of the CPU. So the Snapdragon 77G Plus versus the Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1. Do you see the differences there? And which one do you think is worth it for its camera system? And which one would you get for vlogging, actually? It might be also very interesting. So you think that the Magic VS is just like has just a camera system of a mid-ranger, or do you think that the Honor 70 has a camera system of a flagship foldable? Write it down in the comment section. That's everything for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and until the next time.